welcome to Sweetpea Seeds Inspirations. My name is Sydney, and today's video is going to be a little time-lapse video of my daughter and myself hand painting or tie-dyeing some fiber. Now, I have used this technique before when working with yarn, but this is the very first time doing it with fiber. It's pretty much the same process, other than you do have to be a little bit more gentle, because if you agitate those fibers too much, you do risk the chance of matting or velting the fibers. So unfortunately, I was not able to record from start to finish. So before actually rolling over into the time lapse of today's video, then I'm going to go through the process of exactly from start to finish. So before you can actually start dyeing your fiber, I will be using acid dyes in today's video. And what that means is before you start dyeing, you have to let your fiber or your yarn sit in something that's acidic, either white distilled vinegar or citric acid. And the reason why we let it sit, and along with cool to lukewarm water for at least 20 to 30 minutes. But the reason why we do that is the acidity will help enhance the coloration in the fiber or the yarn. So once you've let it sit for 20 to 30 minutes, some people will do an hour, if not longer, but I just typically do 20 to 30 minutes. You do want to kind of drain the excess water out of it. Now, I use a salad spinner that is specifically for dyeing. You want to make sure that you do not use your cookware when that you mainly cook with. You don't want to use your cookware with when you go to dye yarn or fiber, because those dyes will soak up into the cookware, and that becomes a health problem. So you don't want to mix the two together. So my salad spinner is specifically only for dyeing yarn or fiber. But once you've gotten all that excess water, and what I typically do while it is sitting, I will mix up my dyes. Now, I think I use about 5 or 6 different colors in today's video. And what I do, I don't really measure anything. I just kind of guesstimate and free for all. But with today's technique, I did use lukewarm water with my dye when mixing it up, just to help also enhance the coloration as well. The heat is what really helps the fibers soak the coloration in, along with the acid dye, or the citric acid, or the white distilled vinegar, sorry. And you'll see her and I dyeing the fiber. Once the fiber is dyed, this technique where we are hand painting or tie-dyeing, whichever you want to call it, I'm going to roll the fiber up into clear plastic wrap and then put it in a Ziploc bag. Now, there's 2 different directions that I can go using this technique. Either I can go ahead and put it in the microwave and put it in for a few minutes, or you can also get a pot of water and have it boiled and ready for you, and kind of what some people call it kettling, or some people call it steaming, whichever direction you want to go, whether it's in the pot or in the microwave. And usually I will do that for, I think I let mine sit for about 20, or let it steam for about 20 minutes or so, if not longer. It just kind of depends on how quick the fiber is soaking up the dye. Now, once you have let your fibers steamed, kettled, or if you've put them in the microwave, this is very, very, very important. You want to make sure that your fibers are removed from the heat and cooled down on their own, meaning you want to let your fibers sit in that pot until the water is lukewarm, if not cold water. I personally recommend cold water. That way you don't have to worry about the potential chance of velting. Because if you do not let the fibers cool on their own, and you take it directly out of that steaming hot pot, for one, you risk the chance of burning yourself, but for two, you take it out of that steaming hot pot and put it directly under cold water or even lukewarm water, you risk the chance of melting your fibers, and that's just a direction you do not want to take. So you do want to make sure those fibers are cooling on their own to lukewarm, if not cold water. So after you've let them cool, you will actually let them sit in cold water so that all of the excess dye runs out, and you might do that for a few times. Let it sit, dump that water, let it sit again in cold water until all of that excess dye is out. And then once you have gone through the process of getting all of that excess dye out of your fiber, the next step is to get all of the excess water. So again, I will take my salad spinner, get as much as I can out, and then I will let it air dry. Now, some people will take a towel and wrap their fiber or yarn into a towel and get all of the water, just whatever you can do. But it's very, very important that you do let it air dry. I would not recommend sticking it in a dryer just because the fibers are still wet. And when fibers are wet, they are very, very weak. So you risk the chance of wilting and even damaging your fibers. So yeah, that's a little bit of the process of dyeing fiber or dyeing yarn. Now, after it has fully dried out, I will kind of fluff it up a little bit and then put it in a braid. So this is the outcome of what my daughter and I dyed in today's video. So I am very, very pleased and excited to see how this spins up. I think I'm going to try fractal spinning with this braid and see how well it does. But for now, just enjoy the rest of this video. I want to say thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy.